could play in your card game. So Luke on the right borrowed this deck. He literally found out what a Cliffort was on Wednesday, and here he is in top 4.
Here he is.
So
Doing pretty well for himself.
good. He has a lovely beard and top knot combo going on.
Yeah, he does.
He's a very bearded man.
I believe he's also an engineer.
I also am being called to the table for some ungodly reason.
Very good. I think Jai wants to know if we can start, which they absolutely can.
All right, just confirming whether or not they're allowed to start playing. Yes is the answer. Yes, they are. It's Jihad 30, feeling the top pressure.
Feeling the top pressure. I've got his deck list up over here. Have you got Plaxton's deck list?
I'll have to dig.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna dig.
The old Pilot O deck list.
If we were smarter, and we're clearly not.
We should have sorted the top 8 deck lists out ages
Yeah,
ago.
we could have just pulled
We
them out.
could have just done that.
Look, it was at the top, so it's fine.
We good.
Do we have any spice?
Well, let's see. You can have the Hadrel.
No, it's a small handwritten thing. We've already looked at it. We decided there was no spice. We decided it was distinctly spiceless.
There's a small amount of spice in Plaxton's deck list.
Do go on.
Okay, so spice includes he main decks a shell, not too spicy.
That's like a Porto's Bondi Burger level of spice.
All right. He but his spice appears to be in the side where he's siding 2 Deep Prison, the 3rd Vanities, 2 Valor, 2 Forbidden Chalice, a Neospacian Grand Mole,
All right.
2 Maxi, an Instant Fusion,
All right. What fusion does he run?
an Evac, and 3 Shadow Mirror.
What fusion?
He
does
has
run?
a Carbonara Warrior. I'm assuming this is the Dinotherium idea,
Yeah.
where you do Instant Fusion so that in the mirror you make Ragnar Zero and
Yep.
you just wreck him.
Does have the advantage.
And here we are, Beardman reading Sir.
Does have the advantage of not like the Dinotherium. Assuming you're siding against anything other than the mirror, they might actually have a monster in the graveyard.
Yes.
Whereas like Instant Fusion, that's not a problem.
Instant Fusion actually seems like a little bit better, right?
Life points are an actual very
Life points
real
are
issue.
actually a very realistic thing.
G'day, mate. Nice watch. That's fair.
It's Brandon, bruh. Is that the real Braindone Weglies?
Is that real? The real Brandon?
I hope so. I love Wiggles.
How is Atlanta? That is the real Wiggles.
It must be the Wiggles.
Well, notice me, Wiggles.
Please.
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 I've touched the hoodie that's touched you.
Okay.
All right. So we sail into Rubik. How did the graph get to the grave? Is there a foolish burial involved?
Probably.
Did you just jam it to the grave and say, I'm sending this to the grave? Effect.
The old 10-year-old kid maneuver of the...
I can discard this despair from the dark whenever I want.
because I want to. I don't want it anymore. Put it in the graveyard.
Yep. 10 out of 10. He's thinking about it. Look at him.
Dan, Brandon said hi.
Did he?
Oh,
Holy shit.
blushing like a schoolgirl.
Oh my god. This is the greatest thing that has
This is
ever
the
happened
greatest
to me.
day of my life.
Oh, mate. 10 out of 10.
Alright.
So,
So we have the J-Had making a Virgil,
Making a
as
Virgil.
J-Hads are wont to do.
Yeah, he loves it. Are any of the American boys coming to ICS? Do we know?
Well, there was like whispers of it, and I remember there was like what do you call it, the player profiles, where a few of them were like, oh yeah, we're going to use our ARG credit money to get flights to ICS Australia.
That'd be
It'd be
hella.
pretty sweet if they did
That'd
show
be
up.
hella.
I'd love to get some cards signed. Be
Mm,
sweet.
I think I just like rub them for good luck. That's
Yeah.
how it works, right?
Yeah, I think it does.
10 out of 10.
Just start touching them. I'm sure they'll be fine.
I'll
with
wear
that.
my second best jeweler shirt. And everyone will be like, ah, that's as much as we're actually get. A point and an But
Yeah.
like, that's, for me, that's enough.
They know you exist now.
Yeah, they acknowledge my life.
You will always be the.
The guy.
There you are.
Summon
So
carrier.
what have we got here? We got the Carrier. So Carrier is the one that isn't on a waterfall. I have learnt today.
What?
Pretty sure Helix is on a waterfall, Dan.
What?
Gonna have to. See?
Yeah, sick.
It's like waterfalls.
Yep.
Yep.
Sick. Is this how you recognize the cards?
Yeah, it actually is.
Sick. Just karma cuts it.
Karma cut seems good.
I like that Lucas somehow made it this far.
And he has to read what all the
He's
Burning
like-
Abyss cards
He's
do.
like, oh god, I've never played against this deck.
What's going on? There's a rock star. There's little Malabranchi guys.
What's this male branch? I ain't about that.
My phone's beeping away. Puts his banished cards
Oh, it is. Look at it
way
go.
off to the side.
Bibbidi-boop, bibbidi-boop, boop, bibbidi-boop. Getting a phone call. Hello, Luke. I'm watching the stream. What are you doing, mate?
What are you doing, mate?
What are you doing, mate?
What you reading them cards for, eh?
Oh, he
He's got him one of them Oddeyes Penduram dragons.
has the Udai's Pandalum Dragon. Blows it up, puts it in the graveyard, immediately regrets decision, puts it in the extra deck. The extra deck is not on the table, by the way.
Well, realistically, it's never going to get used.
I know, but I still feel really dirty anytime I'm playing Clifford and I leave my extra deck in my deck box, put a pendulum card there, clearly indicating that that is my very empty extra deck.
Yep.
Then they're like, oh, I thought you didn't have an extra deck. And you're like, oh, it's just in my deck box. I just didn't have it
Like,
on the table.
I'm pretty sure the only relevant cards is, like, Utopia, so you can occasionally not die to Nightmare Shark.
I should
And
probably-
Ragnar Zero, so you can ruin them in the mirror,
I
right?
should probably extra deck that card one of these days.
Yeah, well, either that or you could just get good and get a giant hand.
Did you try and make it to the Gulf 500, Brandon? I feel like you didn't try enough.
Excuse me?
He apparently tried to make it to the Gulf 500.
Oh, nice.
The Wiggles could have been here.
The Wiggles could have been here.
Could have been all Wiggles all the time.
That would have been quite hype.
Alright. So his guy got shuffled. He seems upset about this. I would be.
I would be too.
I would be very upset. Jayhad's just very relaxed comparatively. He was quite aggressive at the start.
He was.
There was a lot of
Especially the first 500. He was really aggressively trying to bust into the booth, but
there was a lot of like, even at the start there was a lot of just threats. Basically just threats being thrown around willy nilly.
he's kind of made it now.
Now he's kind of just like, I'm top 4. That's fine.
He's in.
Yeah.
He's
He-
very possibly going to get absolutely demolished by Jono in the top 2,
He could
as
go
always
all,
happens.
He could go all the way.
He could go all the way.
This is his like second premier event top
Oh, wow.
ever. Wow. Oh, and Whitbread's lurking.
Whitbread's here?
He's lurking behind you.
Whitebread's always lurking.
Look at him.
So we have Hadrel stacking them up, making one of them rank 3s,
Making
as
a-
this deck is wont to do.
Making a Dunte.
There is a Dunte.
No, not even close. Because Wiedemann topped as well.
Yeah, Wiedemann top twice, yes.
But Wiedemann topped this event as well. So there's no way it can put him above. Alright.
Grudge Match still in action.
Swanging for 5k.
Yep, 5k. Load of damage.
Quite an amount.
It is in fact a non-zero number of damage. And this is really the issue with opening up with the Odd Eyes. You can just die.
Oh yeah.
You just take too long in the game to do anything relevant, you get tempoed out.
Especially if it gives them like, by the time you see the odd eye, like if you go second with the odd eyes, they've seen like 7 cards, and then you just one of them is an MST. You're like, well, 2 turns later, I played my scout and it got MST'd.
Oh, nuts.
Sad.
Drat.
Sad times. The other top 4 match is Juon versus the Wiedemann.
So another Cliffoth versus Burning Abyss.
Jayhead versus Wiedemann.
Jayhead versus Wiedemann would be a hype finals.
Grudge match the revenge.
Grudge
It's either
match
going to be
the
that, or it'll be
revenge.
like Jayhead versus Juno.
Or Plaxton versus Wiedemann being
The,
two best friends duking it out.
Yep, it's fine. We'll play that one song.
With both of the Wiedemann's Cliffoth's decks fighting each other.
Yeah, they can just draw. They'll split it. It's fine. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's a joke about splitting. Yeah, the other match is Clifford versus BA as well, I'm pretty sure. It's Jono's BA versus Wiedemann's Clifford.
Yep. And there's the scout. Does the Hadrel have an answer? Nope.
Like when,
Doesn't
he,
appear so.
like when he sadly just reaches over and starts touching the iPad. Like he puts the scout
Guess you
on the-
take 800.
He's like, oh, God, resolve your search.
Typhoon. Typhoon. Oh, he's got the deck.
He's touching. He's
They're no
touching his
Typhoon
graveyard.
now, boys.
Touching his graveyard.
So what do you feel like Luke's likely to get here, Mister? You're the Clifford player.
Well, I don't know
Oh, he
what
drops
his,
the disc.
don't know what his hand
You're not
is.
fast enough, Dan.
But if he's searching the disc, surely that means he has like. If he has like Pendulum Sacrifice disc, that's pretty good.
You
Like-
know it. Oh, he's just normal
It's
summoning
just,
disc.
it's just jamming it. Wait,
Sacrifice.
It's
Word up.
What's his plan to kill the Virgil? Because he really needs one.
Probably has a skill drain, I assume.
Really? If he doesn't just say the word pass.
Yeah, I really do hope he doesn't just say the word pass. That would be Trey unfortunate. I mean, he could still, like... Does he play Laser Clip? There are no Laser Clips, boys.
I swear the one laser clip is like actually the greatest.
It comes up so often.
It's like, I'm trying to think of a similar card that like just extended your combos, but you wouldn't like run more of them.
There's no reason to ever play 2.
No, there really isn't.
I mean, I'm assuming it's like Tensu where you can't go, like... Can you go, like, clip extra tributes, play another clip extra
It
tribute?
says like you can like get this effect once per turn or
Yeah,
something.
of course.
It's kind of like I guess like Blizzard Dragon or Dragon Ice or whatever the Mermail card was in like the 50 card Mermail. Like if you saw it, you were like, oh cool, I can do things with it, but you'd never be like, oh it's so good, I need to run 3.
Mate. Best not be hating on my Dragon Ice.
I think Mr. Plaxton just scooped. Or scopped as we call it.
Yeah, Plaxton just
Scopped.
got Burning Dawn. Here we are starting into our game 2.
Alright.
And pretty straightforward for the Plaxton. Gonna jump in on the 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, probably the Maxi, maybe the Grand Mole.
Pretty sure Hadril just jams 3 Fairy Wind, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need, isn't it? This is already a favorable matchup. It just makes a favorable matchup kind of like trivial if you open the right cards. You just Fairy Wind him into the ground. Whereas Plaxton's going to be hoping to beat him with Floodgates, which also get Fairy Wind.
Yeah, it's kind of the issue is like the Fairy Wind is a side and a counter side. You
Yeah.
hit all their cards and all their Floodgates.
It's quite strong.
Ain't bad. 7 out of 10 would side again.
Wiedemann is
Oh.
up 1-0 over our man Jono.
Jono has dropped a game for the Wiedemann.
Jeez.
Damn.
Is once again Jono going to be the bridesmaid and not the bride?
Well, he has to make like top 2.
Has he ever won any event in his life?
It's really brutal to ask that question, but like other than a locals and a regionals, I don't
horrible.
think so.
That's pretty horrible. In saying that, he's had a pretty illustrious Yugamon's career.
Like second at a bunch of things is good.
Oh yeah, and he got what, 3rd at YCS Sydney? 3rd, right?
Mm,
He got 3rd or 4th. It was one of the two. Pretty sure he got 3rd because he actually got a giant hand out of it.
Yeah, he got that, I think.
3rd, Welsh came 2nd, and our old man D Summon came 1st.
It's a good YTS.
I enjoyed it.
Very, very keen for next week. Next week? Week after? Next week.
Next
Yeah,
week.
Next week. Next week's going to
It's
be
gonna
good.
be great.
Yeah, that's it. If you're coming to YCS Sydney, make sure you find Lincoln and myself.
I won't be hard to find. I'll be wearing the same shirt.
Yep. And I'll be in a judge shirt answering people's questions about whether or not MST get in the gates.
Yep. Just remember, Dan's opening up a new business. He's got a pay him $1, and he will listen to your salty story for as long as he can.
Yes. So if you
$1 per salty
if
story.
you see me walking around the YCS and you just got absolutely owned in your last round,
and you really just want to vent about it,
come up to me,
$1.
hand me $1, and I will listen to your entire short story, your entire salt story.
while even making appreciative noises such
Yeah.
as, "Oh man, he had everything."
Yep, I will engage on whatever level I feel like I can engage on. I promise. It'll be great. I'll be so much better than those other people you'll try and tell salt stories to who just kind of walk away as fast as they can.
Because he's in for the dollar.
I'm in for the
You're gonna
dollar.
get your dollar value out of it too.
You will. Think, if you play 4 rounds and you go X3 and drop, then for
There's
just
a whole lot to complain about.
for just $3, you can
Oh, we're talking each game's $1, is it?
each salt story is $1.
Oh wow, alright.
If you go to like the cafeteria and the line's really long and you're like real mad about it, and you come back and be like, man, you would never believe the line at the cafeteria. Like,
Read the sign.
man, I'm gonna need that $1. I'll have a giant hand by the end of the tournament.
Some good value. You should paperclip trade with your dollars.
No, I'll just actually just listen to like 700 Salt stories.
Get your judge swag. Have they confirmed what the judge mat is yet?
No, they haven't.
Because what was last year? It was like the Monarchs Erupt?
No,
Nats?
the YCS one was Happy Channeler, I think.
Oh, okay. That ain't bad.
And then the Nats one was Monarchs Erupt, which is like Mobius like breaking out of a glacier, which is kind of cool.
Have you still got that?
Yeah, sealed as well for
Nice.
sale.
Hit me up.
Hit me up, HMU.
The second Argomat's pretty sweet.
I'm really hoping that the Judge mat's Cleforts, just because like the regionals mat is Virgil, the like Ordeal of the Traveler mat is Dante,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was
the YCS mat is Shekanaga. So
if
like it's probably either it can't be a Burning Abyss mat, right?
I would assume not.
And then, like
Unless they just natty make it the European Traveler and the Burning Abyss mat.
or they'll just like jam like an Ultra Athletes mat or something. Also, the window behind us is so greasy from people trying to watch the stream that Ben is physically cleaning it with Windex right now.
There he is.
Look how greasy it
Cleaning
is.
off the Jai grease.
Look how greasy it is. What is wrong
This is what
with
we
these
have
people?
to deal with in the Yu-Gi-Oh community.
Do these people shower? Do they need a moist towelette? Like, we'll go to KFC and we'll get them like a stack.
Oh, those things are good
They can
value.
just clean their faces with the moist towelette. Wow. Good work, Benarino. The Giant Luke playing it. What is happening with this game?
How many piles?
Oh,
Luke
Luke has to do the old de-sleeve the old sleeves, re-sleeve the new ones.
And Jai's just tapping impatiently. The list of who's judging.
Oh, Bowden has it apparently.
Wow, alright. Burden just has everything. Always has everything.
Bowden, did you see my name on there? Were you like, hey, it's that guy who I have no idea who he is? That's all I want.
Recognize me.
Love me. I'm the guy who screwed up the mermail call at Nats. That was a stupid call.
In Bowden's favour, though, right?
I don't know. I don't think
It was the whole like.
I don't
Was
think
it a
about-
fiendish chained?
It was a fiendish chained Megalo.
Megalo.
Can it activate its effect? I said yes on the basis of like
Skill drain.
skill drain. You can still pay costs, but apparently you can't because by virtue of it not being able to attack,
Yeah,
an ability to make it attack twice would do nothing.
makes sense. Makes sense.
And I'm like, oh, right, whatever, Yu-Gi-Oh.
But apart from that and the other dog call of the like the 2 101s in a turn, everything kind of went alright, right?
Like 3 judges watched that happen.
Yeah.
3 judges watched 2 101s in a turn happen because that line of text. When has it ever been relevant? It's never been
Doesn't
relevant
come up
again.
often. Looks like Jai's open to Fairy Wind, so that's pretty solid. And he's
I'm
gotten up.
getting, I'm getting Judge called.
So I guess Hadrell's Nature's calling. Who are these judge people you speak of? Well, my main man, D. Smith Dan, is one of the judges casting with me today. Is that... it's D. Smith sitting down, having a quick look-see at his hand. That makes sense, Bowden. That's actually quite good to know. Because, I'd heard a bunch of the names on the list and I was quite concerned with a few of them. Alright, looks like we're back underway. D. Smith back on the mag.
A little bit of hustle there just because Jai Huddle decided to go to the bathroom after Luke spent like 10 minutes siding, and he's like, but at the same time, I'm kind of like not going to be calling Jai for stalling to time for peeing for 30 seconds
Yeah.
after his opponent spent 5 minutes siding. Like,
Yeah.
So I saw Hadrill's hand. It's a couple of Burning Abysses, an Upside Goblin, and a Fairy Wind. That ain't bad.
Seems pretty good.
Yeah.
And we have Plaxton opening on Odd Eyes. It's got the old Odd Eyes Scout.
Thunderbird banishes the cost indeed. It's it ain't so bad. Like the judging program in Australia is kind of like there just aren't many. That's basically the biggest issue we have. So like I mean, I've judged one Nats ever, but I judge like a lot of locals, and I'm like all right at it. Like,
But you're super tight with Kev.
yeah, but like it's also just like I actually bother to look shit up. Like I hate the worst feeling for me is trying to like pretend I know something. I hate it. If someone asks me a question and I'm going to give them any sort of answer, I want to 100% know that what I'm saying is right, or at the very best, like right to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
But yeah, the massive problem is like, I know it's like bad for players sometimes when they get inexperienced judges, but like that's why you have a head judge to appeal to.
Yeah, and Paul Kite conceivably knows pretty much everything.
He knows a lot of stuff. So like, and it's kind of like there's never going to be like, how do you get an experienced judge without letting them judge?
I mean, I had someone at Nationals 2013 tell me that Fate targeted, but it was just, I said like I'd like to appeal. Paul Cat came over in a minute, and it was sorted out very quickly. Like, it's not too much of a problem.
And like,
What was it you said? It's better to have sort of enthusiastic judges rather than. Like, you made a really good point.
quite often the player, yeah, except the finish chain. Quite often the player management side of judging is the part that's really hard to teach. If you're really, really bad at dealing with like he said, she said arguments, or like just players being like apeshit on each other, or like knowing whether or not people are slow playing, stuff like that, that one's kind of like hard to. Oh, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to teach someone. You can teach someone rulings, like, yeah, it's only like the finish chain thing was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm glad that I know it doesn't work, and I'm also glad I know why it doesn't work. Like, and yeah, that's it. If you have like a judge who's enthusiastic but like not necessarily knowledgeable, you can chuck them on deck check, and then maybe day 2 chuck them on like a winner box side event.
Yeah.
And at that point, like,
Or get them to like patrol the lower tables where most of the questions will be fairly simple.
yeah, and like at that point they get some real judging experience, and then they come back and like maybe they might get appealed like 5 times in the tournament, but every single time they get appealed, if they're right, they know they're right, and if they're wrong, they learn as well. Like,
Did you get appealed many times at Nationals?
not the one time. Like the Venus chain thing wasn't even an appeal. The Venus chain thing was like I made the call that I believed at the time to be correct. Both players accepted it. I went and double checked with Paul. He's like, nah, you're wrong. Please go back and tell them. And in the end, it was irrelevant because I don't think Bowden made the play anyway. But like
Makes sense.
that's how it happens though. Like if no one's gonna appeal, it's like sure. Like it's as much the player's responsibility to know what their cards do as the judge.
For sure.
So. Sir, is that special Sir normal scum or is it special both? Assuming normal scum, we just put it sideways because like he's just going straight to the Dante.
I would guess so.
Virgil got compulse.
Yeah,
Mil-
there was a compulse, so he's
Mills a
probably already normal
Rubik
summon this
and
turn.
I'm guessing it's a Caliber and Alich.
Yeah.
He should totally negate that guy. It's a good plan.
Do you want to negate my guy?
Coaching him into a play.
Nah, right.
I probably won't, every time he goes to the grave.
It's fine.
I did it for like the first 2 days I played the deck. It's just where monsters go when they're destroyed, right?
Snap react.
None of this weird goes to the extra deck nonsense. I feel like Zen Mighty and Magician to 3 Hunter Band is still like windups would be pretty good at that point.
Be pretty sweet, to be honest.
Isn't like
Seems kind of fine to me.
because like wouldn't Magician Shark be like just back to being game again if that was the case?
Well, you don't have shock. It's an OTK, but you don't have Shockmaster to just lock them out of their turn.
True.
Because it was the old, you'd Shockmaster them for spells, set traps so they couldn't remove your traps. Shockmaster them for traps so they couldn't kill you.
And then game them.
Yeah, so you had to have Fiendish Chain, Evac, or like Needle Sealing, or you just died straight away.
That's fine.
Wiedemann wins over Jono.
Wait, Wiedemann
Damn,
beats Jono.
son.
This is why we featured Jono top 8. Because if he gets...
I mean, much different to his assurance of, don't worry, I'm not going to lose.
Exactly.
There he goes.
Oh,
Wiedemann
2-0.
swiftly 2-0ing. We got Hadril with the Fairy Wind on the Scout.
That ain't
Always
bad.
quite a good play. Nothing wrong with kill him. They should put Soul Charge back to 3. I'm inclined to agree. I kind of do fall in favor of the Soul Charge should be a 3 or 0 card. Because then you can, play around it with your own, play around it. Whereas nowadays it's kind of like, well, if you have Soul Charge, it's bad for me, but it's like 1 in 40. So...
That's the old, like, do you leave the power cards at 1 so they don't always have them, or do you leave the power cards at 3 so you can consistently play around them? Pull up Fairywind just so people know what it does.
Sure.
Cards been the ballers today.
God is ain't bad. Ain't bad.
So
It's helped me move into my high-rise apartments.
a lot of things are face up now that you don't like Floodgates, Vanity's Emptiness, and especially against Cliff Forts where all of their monsters count as spells in the Pendulum Zone. It's trap speed, so they can go activate Scout Effect and you can kill it. Its effect doesn't resolve, which is great. And it does that little bit of burn as well, which when your opponent is paying 800 every turn starts to add up pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it can pretty easily, especially if you do something spicy, like activate your own thing and chain Fairywind to it. Your card's going to get destroyed, but it doesn't change anything. It just hits him for an extra 300.
Yeah.
I've found Fairywinds pretty often can hit both players for like nearly 1,000, 900 to 1,200 pretty much every time, which is really relevant, as Dan said, against the pay my whole life point away deck.
Summon a dude.
So we have Luke Plaxton with the Carrier.
So importantly, you can normal summon it without tributing, but it becomes 1800. So right now it's just an 1800 monster. And also, if he tributes it for a Cliff Fort, if it's tributed at all, sorry, it can bounce a monster.
Yes.
But Jayhaz just going to go Torga into Graf and probably just Rizek him here pretty hard.
I have a feeling that Lukey P may not live this turn. He needs a Virgil.
Please give Jono a
And
little
Lukey
bit of flack.
P is just dead. And I'm pretty sure that our old mate Papa Hadrel has a Rubik in graveyard. If not, he
And he
probably
milled
has
a Graf. He milled a Graf.
Okay, yeah. So
He's attached to Sir milled a Graf. He's actually just as
looks
in
like our
as
finals is going to go back to the QLD Yu-Gi-Oh! Grudge match.
it's actually just everything.
Carl Wiedemann giving me the
The
look of yeah, I did it.
The look of love. Mill 3, doesn't even matter what they are.
Yep, ability,
Shuffle that back in your
shuffle
deck.
it,
Attack for a
kill you.
7/5.
You got the Gauze Chief. Nope, and
Ba-da.
that is the game. Reeling a hand of just 3 dudes, including our kitty cat.
Well,
So
damn.
there it is.
But-
Hadrel wins 2-0 over Lukey P.
Borrowed deck's going to only get you so far. And now we know that.
Oh, he's done very well for himself.
He has. It's actually very impressive.
It actually is.
Jono will not lose to Jai since Jono just lost to Carl Wiedemann.
The Wiedemann gave Jono just a little bit extra.
Oh, he sure did. So, final's going to be Jayhab 30 playing Burning Abyss.
Versus
Versus
the
Carl
Wiedemann
Wiedemann playing
playing
Cliff Fort.
Clifford. And if it's anything like we've seen in our features today, Carl's going to get destroyed.
But it is Carl.
Yeah, Carl does kind of... He gets there.
Yeah, every time. Alright, well, we're going to take a short break before the final. Yeah, that. Bam. We're
Bam.
back shortly.
Be back shortly, guys.